Hello, and welcome to the Weekend Spread, presented by the Pigskin Podcast Network and the Schooner Pod. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me, we got Jameson, we got Ty, and we got Bowden Blake here to break down yet another slate of college football. We're entering Week 9, almost in double digits, folks. We're down the stretch, and folks, this is a pretty fun slate. One of those where tough decisions will be made. Not a great gambling slate, but a very fun one to watch. So let's take a look at the records before we get this thing going. Jameson, despite a 3-5 week last week, is still on top at 37-39, followed by Ty at 37-40 by way of his pot of greed pick. Blake is at 36-40, and I am tailing it at 36-41. My pot of greed and my wild card hit, so that was my saving grace. So, all in all, very close race towards the top here. Ty, big week last week for you. Went 5-3. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, you live by shooting from the hip. You die by shooting from the hip.
Are you accidentally shooting yourself in the leg?
There was another implied joke there. Wasn't intended, but.
It happens.
Okay.
Alrighty. I don't know why I ask y'all questions anyway.
I say that every week, all right? I can't help it when movie stars start popping people.
Gosh.
We're off to a hot start, folks. Blake, you were inches away from only having one win last week, the Ohio State win over Indiana. Your beloved Nevada Wolfpack came through narrowly. How are you feeling? You went from hero to zero here.
Last week sucked gambling-wise and sucked on a personal level. Now that I'm living I'm in purgatory right now at TCU football. I'm stuck with Gary Patterson for the next 3 years. He sucks. He's a horrible coach. And that you can tell my demeanor has changed from last week's State of the Frogs Athletic. I want him out. I want him gone. I want him so far gone. His stench from our program. But I did get to watch last week OU struggle against Kansas, and that actually gave me a little bit of happiness. So I will take it. Horrible gambling week, horrible TCU week, but watching OU not score anything against Kansas made me feel a little happy.
So I would also be remiss to not ask you about TCU legend Sonny Cumbie taking the interim head coaching role at Texas Tech. How are you feeling about your guy Sonny Cumbie leading the Red Raiders?
Yeah, so what I'm scared of is he actually does a pretty decent job, gets them to a bowl, and then TCU hires him after Gary Patterson. That would be my absolute hell. It's just like, I can't escape this man and his average play calling, and he becomes our head coach. And it so happens that he is now, he has a chance to do well, and then Fuente, our old offensive coordinator, probably is going to get fired from Virginia Tech at the end of the season. And I swear to God, if we hire him, I am done. I'm done with TCU football. There's so many of Gary's little guys that are still around, kind of in key positions.
Little guys.
Little Garylings.
Hired. And they're worse than Gary, which is saying something right now. So please, dear God, Sonny Cumbie, please be bad so you don't become our head coach in 2 years, please.
I love how just when it looks like the worst for y'all, it just gets even worse. Jameson, again, not a great week, but still on top. You looking to stay on top? That's a dumb question. Of course you are.
Thank you, Bobby, for the amazing introduction. I would like
bottom guy.
I just turned into Magic Johnson for a second there, I guess.
Power bottom.
Oh God. Let's just talk about how I'm not picking Pac-12 as a wild card for the rest of the year. And Utah, you showed me some stuff, and then I'm like, great, their offense is kicking ass. Like, they're doing great in the first quarter, starting off 14-0 right off the bat. What the hell is wrong with that defense? I'm just staying far, far away, everything Pac, because there's just too much going on there that I can't keep up with.
I mean, fair enough. I think everyone should stay away from the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Too much Pac-12, it's dangerous for your health.
No.
Yeah. So, anyways.
It's just the state of Utah is just really bad this year for gambling. But BYU and Utah have both been unreliable.
That's fair enough. All right, let's dive into the slate where we have a game that looked like it was going to be good last week, but thanks to a very, very dumb overtime within Illinois, is not so great as number 20 Penn State travels to Ohio State. Buckeyes favored by 17.5. All lines provided by DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure to check that out. Use promo code TPPN to place your bet on this game or any other on the slate, or just any bet. You can bet F1 if you want to. I don't care. Anyways, Penn State, their season's kaput. It's done. It's dead. It's floating around in the water. It's bad. I gotta say, I kind of love dumb overtime. I just wanted to mention it. Jameson, what did you think of dumb overtime?
It was great. It was great. It was kind of, I feel fake, 9 overtimes, but it went fast. It went fast, and that's all we needed.
It was the longest game.
That's why it was so funny.
So much longer. It could have been so much longer. But then it was just back and forth, and obviously but it was very entertaining. It was almost comedy.
Ty, how would you decide overtime if it was up to you?
So honestly, I don't like the new changes. I would love for there to be, I love college overtime way more than NFL overtime. I think the NFL system is garbage. So I would like the college round 1 overtime for 10 rounds, and then you have a PK shootout between the kickers where they're just backed up 10 yards until one of them misses and the other one makes it.
I mean, it would be electric. I'll
give it that. Yeah, that, or it's just like an Oklahoma drill between like the starting
holders.
No, not the holders. People would game
it would be
that.
really
They would just train a big dude to be a holder. I want to, yeah,
exactly. And it'd become an art.
It would be an art. Like, how can you prepare for overtime? I love
a big man race.
The
heaviest dude on your roster has to run against the heaviest dude on the other guy's roster, and just whoever makes it across the field fastest wins.
Fat guy race. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
What does football turn into?
I don't know. Either way, let's actually get on to the picks because our listeners probably are furious at us right now. So, because Jameson is still on top, he will lead us off, followed by Ty, and then Blake and me. So, Jameson, kick us off.
I'm scrambling because Bobby's order that he has just presented is not the same that we have on our spreadsheet. I thought I was about to pick again, mistaken, but here I go. I'm picking Ohio State first versus Penn State. And this is a game that was legitimately giving me the most headache. Because, yes, I understand Penn State lost in overtime. It was miserable. Ohio State's turning it around. But Ohio State, is giving – so I'm just thinking – I'm not thinking about the spread here. I trust Vegas to give me something pretty accurate. I'm thinking about just the storylines on both sides. Penn State is going to be downplayed because of their overtime loss. So it's heartbreaking and everything. And then Ohio State's going to be upplayed because they've been blowing teams out of the water. They kicked Indiana's ass. They played Maryland and Rutgers, but that's just cupcakes of Big Ten. I think Penn State keeps it within 17.5 here. I really like the way Ohio State's offense has been playing. They've been really good. Do not get me wrong, and I understand Blake's already to roast me right here.
Oh, Lord.
And I really, really like the way that Ohio State is rebounded on the offensive end. But I don't know. This is so hard for me. I'm going to go Penn State. I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, so Ohio State's averaging 50 points a game. So that's something to consider. Penn State, I understand, their storyline, but even when they've been successful, they've not been able to really put up points on people. So with that being said, I personally, I don't like it. I think it's high. I think there is a point later on in the week. Well, I guess we released these on like Thursday, so I don't know. But I would presume that this will see a dip at some point throughout the week, but even at 17.5, I got to go with Ohio State. I think it's a lot, but I think 3 touchdowns, they got it.
Good, Blake.
Did you say Penn State?
I said Ohio State.
He said Ohio State.
Okay, I thought for a second, I was like, oh my God, someone's joining me. I thought I was going to be on an island.
No.
No, Nope,
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
gonna go
this
Illinois.
is a dumb pick. I don't understand how you come out of that Illinois game with hobbled Sean Clifford going back to his original form and wanting to trust that against Ohio State. I know their defense not very good, but Ty is right. Like 58 points per game over the past month. Like they have been. I don't care who you're talking about. OU struggling against the worst team in the Power Five, and Ohio State's out here putting 50 burgers on them each week. I don't care. I don't care that Penn State has played actual teams, but when you look at it, they haven't played dynamic offenses. They played Iowa and Bo Nix on the road, which we know how that goes. I'm taking Ohio State. I'm not getting with stinky Sean Clifford and having to rely on him to cover this like in a backdoor spread. I'm not touching him. He's hobbled. He's finally back to his form, which I said at the beginning of the season. He sucks. I'm not backing him. Give me Ohio State. I don't care. This is going to be a rout. I think this is going to be Penn State. I think this is when James Franklin starts deciding, hey, I might take the LSU job or the USC job. I think this is the game. So
Give me the extra point, Bobby. I just looked it up. It's 18.5 right now. What is going on?
I'm not changing it. We locked this. That's how
Bobby's pretending like it's an extra point.
Bobby has turned into robot Bobby.
You called him out, and then he unplugged his Wi-Fi router because you called him out,
and he's gone. And as second longest standing person of the Schooner Pod, I will take over as host now.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back to Bobby.
Oh God!
I'm thinking, am I still Robo Bob?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
Robo-Bob.
Okay, so here's my thing. Ohio State, yeah, look, they've looked a lot better. But Indiana, Maryland, and Rutgers have 2 combined Power 5 wins. And both were, I believe, Maryland. They beat Illinois. And, West Virginia, who you all said was actually going to be pretty good this year. They weren't.
Right, Blake?
Right, Blake?
They're towards the middle back of the Big 12, middle back.
So where's TCU? Are they in the back?
Yes, I want them to be in the back. I want Kansas to put a 70 burger on us, end us, put us in the dirt. That's where I want us to be. I want us to be 10 out of 10 in the Big 12 so I can finally get a new coach. Put me in the ground. Put me in the ground.
Look, I love it. So look, I think Ohio State's good. I think they've gotten better. They've improved. But this is definitely their first really big challenge since then. That being said, if this was at Happy Valley, with the whiteout going, I'd feel a lot better about Penn State here. That being said, I gotta go with
What is this?
I'm going with the Nittany Lions.
You've given everything on why to pick Penn State, and you're about to choose Ohio State.
I'm gonna go with,
you know
I'm
why?
gonna go
Because
with
he's chicken.
I'm going with Penn State to back them up. I think they're gonna keep it close.
Okay, thank God.
I think Penn State's gonna keep it close. Maybe this could be a backdoor situation. I just need to see. I need to see the Buckeyes destroy a Penn State instead of Indiana, who's just stinky garbage. Maryland, who is also garbage. Rutgers, who is just rotten gabagool. So yeah, Ty's right. We got to go fast. We're going too slow.
That's not what this
State.
sign means, but all right.
I didn't know. What does it mean? What does the gotta go fast sign mean, Ty?
That's Sonic the Hedgehog.
I know it's Sonic.
That's how Australian people say it. Don't ask me why I know that, but it cracks me up.
I don't know. Sonic. Okay, moving on to our next game. Some of y'all might not like this, but I'm pumped. Number 19 SMU at Houston. The Cougars
Let's
favored
go.
by 1. Look, and here's the thing. This is a big game because Houston undefeated. SMU undefeated. Houston with their 1 loss to Texas Tech. Poor Matt Wells, RIP. Look, this game is essentially for whoever gets to play Cincinnati in the AAC championship. So big matchup. I'm going to get this one kicked off. I really do believe in Mordecai and that SMU offense. I get that Houston's favored, and that makes me feel a little weird. But let's be honest, Houston's a commuter college, not very big. I don't know if the if that stadium will be hopping or not. So give me the ponies to narrowly pull this one out. Yeah, SMU. Blake?
Wrong. Look, okay, SMU, they're sexy. They have a sexy offense. Trevor Mordecai, Ulysses Bentley, which I need to issue a formal apology to Ulysses Bentley. I slander his name all the time. It turns out he's the top-graded running back in the G5 conferences, so he's actually like a decent running back. I need to stop slandering his name, but SMU, they're all flash, but they're no power. They got all offense, no defense, and the one score I just got to point out is you allow 17 points to USF, which could be worse than Kansas. USF hasn't given a fight to anybody, it feels like, this year. I think maybe they took one team, but regardless, they suck, they stink. Houston's defense is incredible. They allow for third down percentage, 23%. They only allow about 17 points per game. And they have the fourth fewest yards allowed in the FBS. Like, they are insanely good on defense. And SMU just shows nothing on that side of the ball. And I trust, Clayton Tune or whatever his name. U of H's offense is good enough. They're a future Big 12. Represent the Shield. Give me the Cougars. I'm backing them. Don't buy into all this flash, all this Dallas stuff. No. This is all smoke and mirrors right here, and poor Cincinnati. It's gonna kill their strength of schedule. But give me Houston.
Okay, there you go. Ty?
Wrong. No. Here's why. All right, I'm gonna do the most hated way of determining who's better. But they have two common opponents. Okay, both of them have played Navy. Both of them have played Tulane. They're gonna have several more common opponents.
Okay.
As we go on. So against Navy, Houston won 28-20. SMU won 38-24. Okay, so keep those numbers in mind. Against Tulane, who just went back-to-back with both teams, Houston won 40-22. SMU won 55-26. Quick maths in my head. Transitive property. SMU is going to score more points, which means they're going to win, which means naturally they're going to have a +1 cover. So give me SMU here. This is literally a pick 'em. Not for our listeners that are going to be gambling, but for the sake of the Schooner Pod, where we count pushes as wins, just for the sake of simplicity. I think this is a pretty clear SMU take here.
Okay,
Wrong.
there you go.
Wrong. Give me Houston.
Yes.
And I think Blake said it best, really, for me, is SMU gets a lot of hype, and especially from us, because we saw how well they've done on primetime and versus TCU. But as we've seen with TCU, how much are we buying into? Because that TCU's defense is miserable. And SMU's offense is their strong point. So obviously, whenever you have a team where their strong point is highlighted by the weak point of the other team, it could be a recipe for disaster. And that's what happened in the SMU-TCU game. Houston had a bad start off, but they've kind of came into form, and they're just solidly stumbling through the season. I understand they don't have that big of a home field advantage, but give me Houston here because, like what Blake said, I just don't trust SMU's defense, and Houston is kind of just decent across the board.
Okay, there you go. A true pick 'em. I like it. Moving on, we have the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Georgia, Florida. It is going to be a battle in Jacksonville, and the Dogs are favored by 14. Jameson, kick us off here. Do you think that's too much?
No, I think some grown men will be barking in some Gators' faces this week, and I think that they'll be able to back it up. Here's the deal, Blake. I know that you're in love with the Florida quarterback. What's his name? Can you remind me again?
Anthony Richardson, number 15, yeah. AR-15, baby.
But every single time I look at Anthony Richardson's stat line, I'm like, okay, is
Dude,
he really?
Because you're looking at stats. You're not watching the film, man. He is electric. We're going to go into this, but Dan Mullen, if he doesn't play him enough, he's probably going to transfer. He's going to be the top transfer in the nation that only OU and maybe Alabama would not want this kid. This kid is electric.
He's going to be the top transfer?
I think if Dan Mullen doesn't play him like he hasn't been, yes. Bigger than Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, okay, great. So if he does play, or if he doesn't play, I think that goes to it because even though he might be electric, he makes plays, but he's been turning the ball over pretty handily this season. And if you're going against a defense that can exploit a guy is able to make mistakes, even though he can make flashy plays, you should be worried against going against Georgia. So give me Georgia 14 here. I understand your reasoning with him. He might be flashing on it, but he doesn't have his edges rounded off yet.
Ty?
Yeah, I think Jameson kind of hinted to it. He didn't give the straight up comparison, but I will straight up commit to this comparison. Anthony Richardson, AR-15, is literally, and this is not a bit about like from number 4 or 5 or whatever. Anthony Richardson is literally just another Felipe Franks at Florida.
No,
that's not even close.
I cannot think of a better comparison. No, exactly the same. At least Felipe Franks had baseball to fall back on, like Michael Jordan when he was laughed out of the NBA.
Oh God!
Sports history. Don't believe the revisionist history that they give you in Space Jam. But anyways, I forgot where I was going. Georgia's the best team in the nation. Florida is not as good as Georgia. I think Georgia has minus 14. I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be a grind, but I think Georgia here is the clear and present take.
And Emory Jones threw an interception versus Vanderbilt this year.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about Emory Jones, though, are we, Blake? Who are we talking about?
Okay, so I originally had chosen
not Emory Jones,
Georgia.
Anthony Richardson. Sorry, Anthony Richardson.
I was like,
You
okay.
botched it.
But okay, so I chose Georgia, but I'm switching. I'm going Florida. Y'all got me riled up. Look,
I love
okay,
that.
Dan Mullen has been talking about how he's going to split time between these quarterbacks, but thinking about it more, this is all smoke and mirrors. Once again, he's going with Anthony Richardson this game. He cannot lose this electric talent like Anthony Richardson. And I know Jameson is talking about the picks, but the offense hasn't been scripted to him at all. He's been thrown in weird late game situations, having to try to save this team. And I think they realized off a bye week, like, hey, we should play our best player before we lose him. And I think they might pull out Emory Jones for like a 2-point conversion OU style, but I got to go with AR-15. I'm not trusting Stetson Bennett. I know he's been playing well, but we've seen Florida compete with Alabama. I think they can maybe cover. They're at least going to be fighting towards the end, and I'm not getting on a Mark Stoops. I want to be in on the Mark Stoops style cover, which I think could happen with Florida. I'm not going with Georgia now. Give me the Gators. I love the Gators. It's going to be an AR-15 show. Is coming out party this weekend. So
something major happened on Saturday that really affects this game, and this something actually has nothing to do with college football. The Atlanta Braves advanced to the World Series. And it seems like things are going great in Georgia sports. The Dogs, number 1. You got the Braves in the World Series. Everything's going great for Atlanta. And you know what happens when things go good for Atlanta? Sometimes they go completely to shit, which is exactly what's going to go on for Georgia right here. Things are going too good for Georgia. This is the perfect opportunity for it to go absolutely wrong. Look, they're the best team in the country by far. But if we know anything about college football this year, it's that things could go wildly off the rails at weird points in time. And what would be the most Georgia thing possible than to somehow lose to Florida in the cocktail party when everything's riding high? Do I think they're going to lose? No. They won't. They won't lose, but they're gonna scare them halfway to death. Look, I'm just saying, if you want to get weird, sprinkle a little money line on the Gators. Go for it. This is the only chance Georgia has to lose this year, including Alabama. I will say it right here.
Oh, my God.
Including, if we're not talking playoff, I weirdly enough think that this weird rivalry game, that Gator will sneak up and bite you. So give me Florida to cover 13 or 14. I'm just saying, I do not trust a happy Georgia. You know, when things are going well, when you're up 28-3. You know, you got the Gators coming, and Tom Brady's a Florida man now. So I'm just saying
that's the most salient point that you've made.
If we thought Ty's reasoning of the transitive property was flawed, Bobby's picking it just because of Tom Brady moving to Tampa.
Well, no. You're missing the whole point. What I'm saying is things go wrong for Georgia people when things are all going right, because they will lose in the most hilarious way possible.
Okay, you're right.
That possibly, that could happen.
The most Georgia thing would be to just dominate the season and then just get absolutely blown out in the SEC championship by a 2-loss Bama team.
And then lose to Cincinnati.
No, Cincinnati's not going to beat anyone in the playoffs.
Okay, fair enough.
Cincinnati's like, black and
Go
red.
take alert. Pull it up,
No.
pull it up, Ty. Go take alert.
No,
No,
Cincinnati.
no.
OU, the only top 10 team that OU could beat right now is Cincinnati.
Oh no, Ty, shut the hell up, Ty.
It's all coming together.
No, I'm sorry. That was cold. I forgot that Michigan State is in the top 10. We could beat both of these teams as well.
Oh,
It's
God.
all coming together.
Speaking of teams with high expectations, we got the Michigan Wolverines at Michigan State. Wolverines favored by 4.5. And look, this finally seems to be coming together for Michigan, but I think we're all ready for it to fall apart. And what better place to fall apart than at Michigan State, their arch rivals who Jim Harbaugh just can't seem to beat. Last year, if you recall, Jameson actually had probably one of the best wild cards of all time, where he took Michigan State to cover 23 points. They won outright. And yeah, look, Sparty, they're not flashy, but they get wins. And Michigan, they've been known to play down. So this is a really good game. I'm thrilled to see it. Yeah, and honestly, I'm going to go with history here. I'm going to go with Michigan State to cover 4.5 at home. I feel like it could be a different year, but I want to see it first. I want to see Harbaugh actually do this. So I'm going to go with what I know and go with Michigan State to cover 4.5.
I'm not laughing at your pick, Bobby. I'm not laughing at your pick. It's just, this is why you got to watch some of these on YouTube, because seeing Blake's reaction to the picks before him, or the first pick, whenever he said, I'm going to go with history, Blake goes, who? Go, Bird Blake. Sorry to steal your thunder. Go
No,
Adam.
it's all good. It's Bobby just has wrong reasoning. He's like, wait till I see it. Yeah, we're in the prediction business here, Bobby. We're not into the wait. We'll see what the results after the end of the game. We're a betting podcast, not a recap podcast. So
I'm saying I don't trust Michigan
Blake,
because they always lose in this situation, Blake. They always lose. Why would I trust a team that always falls apart?
What are we talking about with Michigan State? Michigan State was supposed to be bottom tier, and let me explain to you why this team is kind of a little bit, I wouldn't say full frauds, but a little bit fraudy. Like Kenneth Walker III, easy a Heisman candidate, but he is the offense. And the two times that teams have been close with them, Indiana and I'm forgetting the other one, but two not so great teams in the Big Ten, Nebraska. They held them to less than 4 yards per carry. It's easy to keep it close with Michigan State if you just sell out for the run and force them to pass because they can't pass. And I think Michigan, kind of a similar way, they have two guys, ran both for 100 yards last week, really good. But I think they just have a little bit more talent, which is kind of what you need in these games. And see, my Michigan downfall this year is I think they'll just be undefeated going into Ohio State and just get absolutely trounced. Even though this is the year that Ohio State was supposed to be the worst, finally the downfall, and we could end up just seeing Ohio State win the championship. So I'm taking Michigan here. It's just Kenneth Walker III, great running back, but you can't have him be your only offensive weapon. He's the only offensive weapon.
Fair enough. Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, I think this one's really easy. We got the Michigan Wolverines versus the Michigan State Spartans. Spartans were known, most people know them for the Battle of Thermopylae, which they lost, by the way, and a relatively inflated record. The Spartans actually had a losing record when it comes to ancient battles. If you guys didn't know that, go ahead and look that up. So Spartan worship, not tolerated because they overhyped and bad. Michigan State here, though, not overhyped. Oh, well, yeah, they are because they're in the top 10. Michigan, also overhyped. But Michigan, I think, just aesthetically, the green and white is okay, but it's whatever. The dark blue and then the yellow is just such a classic combination of primary colors that you just can't go Michigan State's coming out with a secondary color and then just white. Come on. So give me Michigan here plus minus 4.5.
Okay, there you go.
Dude, our reasoning is just going off the rails. We've hit colors, we've hit history, we've hit different sports so far.
I can point to you in the corners which one it is. It's this one or the guy to my right and the guy above me. It's not me.
Well, one of them actually picked your pick, Blake.
I know, but your reasoning is crap.
Hey, Bobby, can you read off the records again?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I'm in last, but Ty actually is ahead of Blake, though, so.
Okay.
I still got a lot of greed in my back.
I'm a learned individual. I know science, history, the color wheel.
There you go. All right, Jameson, who you got?
This is breaking our streak of this episode of it being divided down the middle of 2-2. I love Michigan here. This is the one I felt the best about because I think Michigan State, they just haven't popped off the page at all, and Blake hit on it. They've just been winning a bunch of close games and just looked ugly in the part. They played Indiana in their last game and won by 5. Like, okay, let's go back and talk about some more games. You know, they beat Nebraska and they beat Miami, and that kind of overhyped them a little bit early in the process. But we've seen that Miami's trash. And Nebraska, you never know what you're going to get out of Nebraska. Like, come on, Indiana by 5. Give me Michigan 4.5. Easy peasy.
Okay, fair
Remember
enough.
when Bobby was saying Indiana was trash whenever he's justifying his Penn State pick, that Ohio State had been blowing out all these trash teams, and now he's backing Michigan State, who's been very close to these trash teams, and has barely scraped by, but that analysis is out the window now once it comes to the
Hold on. Michigan also played a close, scrappy game with trash team Nebraska. So let's not act like Michigan has been just murdering everyone.
Indiana.
Yeah. I know.
Category.
Look, I'm just saying, don't come
crying.
Don't
Indiana. Phoenixless Indiana.
The eunuch Indiana. Look, I'm just saying, look, don't come crying to me whenever Michigan loses on some hilarious blocked punt or something. So, anyways, moving on to Big 12 action. We got ourselves a game. TCU at Kansas State. I shifted it around. I'm sorry. The title cards the title cards imported weird. Here's the rest of the order, by the way. Iowa State, West Virginia, Texas, Baylor, OU, blah blah blah. There you go. TCU at K-State. K-State's favored by a cool tree fitty after their ho hum comeback against Texas Tech. Jameson, 2 troubled programs. Who do you got here?
Wow. God, okay. I don't like this line. Okay, don't like it at all. TCU, what the hell is going on with West Virginia? I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore. With this being at Kansas State, I really want to pick them back, but 3.5? I don't want to pick first. I really don't. I'm just going to close my eyes, and I'm going to pick TCU.
Oh, God. Why?
I don't know. I have no reasoning. I'm not gonna talk. Hey, I should talk about colors here because I like TCU's purple.
They're both purple.
K-State's purple. All right, Ty,
you like that deeper purple.
Take this away from me.
Yeah. So the thing to know about this game is we got TCU from Fort Worth, and then the Purple Cowboys of K-State.
Because
what do you mean? Because
they look like the Dallas Cowboys.
Because they have the Cowboys uniforms, but purple. And I could put Bobby's confusion completely threw off my train. When you got to think about things, it messes up shooting from the hip. But what I was going to say is, K-State. So I'm kind of basing my opinions on these teams off of the OU games, and I actually went back. I don't know why, and was watching some of the OU TCU highlights. And one thing really stuck out to me is when TCU went out there, Blake, maybe you can help me out, the starting quarterback for TCU.
Duggan.
Okay, yeah, so Max Duggan on his 4th or 5th drive of the game, he was running out there, and that's when I realized that Max Duggan was not the starting quarterback of TCU. He was, in fact, a 100-foot tall dinosaur from the Paleozoic era. And I said, you get out of here. And, give me Kansas State.
that was a good attempt at the tree fitty joke.
That was the most fumbled.
Much like Max Duggan himself, there was a lot of fumbling.
Kansas State minus tree fitty. I'm
This
gonna
is the
throw it over
sloppy.
to
This is the
Blake.
sloppiest pick'em we've ever done. Blake, who do you got?
I just pray Kansas State, just like I said, buries us. Please, dear God, bury us. Like, I realized, I had to come to the realization this past Saturday that the most untouchable coach in college football is Nick Saban, and then next is Gary Patterson, because he built our entire football program. It was him and Dutch Meyer. Dutch Meyer was in the 30s and 40s, so you literally can't fire this guy. Like, he can't be fired. He won't quit, because every time he goes into a press conference, he's like, like, back in 2005, we were struggling, and then the next year we turned it around, had our best season ever. Yeah, Gary, we've had 5 straight seasons of absolute suck football. It's not 2005. We've had sucky seasons this entire time. The defense isn't performing. I've told him, change the scheme. Did not change the scheme, of course. So just bury us. Bury us so far under. And it's like, I'm getting to the point. It's like, I want Zach Evans to transfer. I want all these guys to transfer to, like, wake up our boosters' eyes to see we are in a horrible situation, that we're going into kind of a new conference with one of the just most delusional coaches right now, and we can't seem to put that together. We need to fire this man, because this man won't leave. This man will not leave till 2024, 2025, and by then it's too late. So please bury us. Bury us, Kansas. Bury us, Kansas State. Bury us, Iowa State. Bury us, OSU. Please put us under. I want 3 wins on the season so we can finally put the hot seat on him. I'm coming for you next, Jim Dixon. Basketball season's around the corner, but I got one body to bury first, and I hope we get a brand new coach next year for TCU.
I can't believe we somehow need another, like, state of the TCU state of the union for the Frogs.
We lost to Neil Brown and Letty.
Third straight year you've lost to Neil Brown. 4th straight year to West Virginia.
They are he was a great coach at Troy, respected the G5, just getting a consistent G5 program, but my God, like, he should not be at a Power 5 school, like, and we're just losing to him willy-nilly at home on homecoming, which is not a thing at TCU, but still, it means something whenever you put a homecoming on it. That means a guaranteed win, and you did not come out with a guaranteed win. Blow us out, beat us by 120, I don't care, put us in the dirt.
Blake, do you know how much Gary Patterson's getting paid per year?
I don't want to know.
$6,100,000. $6 million every year. The 10th highest paid coach in college football is Gary Patterson.
And Jim Dixon is paid more than Scott Drew, but this is a college basketball podcast. We're overpaying 2 guys that are just writing it out for their paycheck. They're getting paid millions. It's getting infuriating. Nothing's
Here's the thing.
happening.
Chris Kleiman's a better coach. He is paid far less than Gary Patterson, and he's getting this dub here. All of y'all doubted my K-State Wildcats last week when I took their trip to Lubbock. And let me tell you, you had us in the first half, but we kept it up. The Wabash Cannonball just steamrolled on through, just rolled on by. Got a win, got another coach fired. Hopefully for Blake, we get another one this week. Give me the Kansas State Wildcats to win a convincing game at home. Max Duggan, 3 picks. It's going to be a disaster.
Max! Stop! Don't put this on Duggan. Duggan is not the problem. He's not turning over the ball. It is piss poor coaching when it comes from the strategic level of how you play the game of football. Do not put this on Duggan. It is not Duggan's fault. It's not Quentin Johnson's fault. He had a few drops, but not his fault. Not Zach Evans' fault. It's not even the defender's fault.
What did I blame Quentin Johnson?
Because he had a lot of drops last game. But I'm just saying, people are blaming him. Blame the 2 people at the top.
2 picks for Duggan.
Yes, but Bobby, he has vastly improved this season. He's been incredible. He was ripping apart the OU defense. Yes, he has, Bobby.
That doesn't
Our
mean
offense
anything.
hasn't been the
I know he tore... The Bean Man tore up the OU defense. Everyone's tearing up the OU defense.
Duggan is not the issue, and trying to say that Duggan has been turnover happy, he hasn't.
He's not turnover happy. You're right. He's not turnover happy, but he's definitely taken a step back this season.
He hasn't taken a step back. He's gotten better. He just hasn't taken the next step, Bobby. That's the problem. He hasn't taken the big step, but he hasn't. He's been better. It's not his fault.
In that case, I must have just massively overrated Max Duggan.
No, you are the people on the message boards that are always trying to shift it to the players and not the administration. Shift it to the people in charge. Bobby's trying to blame it on Duggan. No, it's not Duggan's fault. It's on Gary. It's on our AD. It's on the administration that allows this suckiness to happen.
Blake, I think
Get this out of here.
Blake, you got a lot to vent, buddy. I think I might have to let you back on for another State of the Frogs.
Bobby just decides to bring in our players to an issue that has nothing to do with our players. Like,
look, I saw what I saw. Every time I turned on the TV, it was a pit.
Did you see Gary not go for it like on 4th down on the goal line and take a freaking delay of game to back up for a field goal while we're on the run with Zach Evans?
I did not flip it to ESPNU enough times to really get the grasp of that game, but it was just everything I saw was a disaster. It was a mess, and I've hated West Virginia all season long. Let's move on to them. By the way, Iowa State going to Mountain Mama. Favored by 7. Iowa State's back, folks. Look, they should have lost last week. OSU got completely jobbed by the refs. That was a first down for sure. But with that being said, this Iowa State team looks like they've come back. They look like they've come back to life. So give me the Cyclones to win by 7 on the road.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to shift it so hard on you there, but, you know.
We're still in Brocktober. Give me Iowa State. I'll ride with them all Brocktober.
Tis the season.
Brocktober goes Cyclones.
Jameson?
Yeah, I think West Virginia is getting a little bit too much love here from beating TCU, and we've seen, even though I picked TCU this week, TCU has their faults. I understand. I'm kind of
has their faults.
Don't fire them up again.
Oh God. I like Iowa State here by 7.
Incredible.
Give me the mystery. I don't know. What do I got next? I'm guessing Texas Baylor next, Bobby.
No,
we have 2 games left. It's Texas Baylor and OU Texas Tech. It's OU Texas Tech. It's Texas Baylor. Texas at Baylor. I apparently didn't edit. I didn't edit the spread. Baylor's favored by 2.5 on the Brazos River. Do you got the? That being said, it's probably going to be a UT home game, basically. Jameson. Do you got the Bears to keep it rolling, or you bringing the horns back?
Dude, I've been saying since the beginning of the season, Blake enlightened me with Gary, the other Gary, the Gary that's actually doing good this season, and Bohannon for Baylor, and he's brought me onto that bandwagon. But I just feel like Baylor, I'm struggling really, really hard to pick him here. I understand Texas has been all gas and no fuel for the majority of the second halves, and their defense is definitely something suspect. But I could just see Bijan Robinson taking over this game. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be very entertaining. I think Gary Bohannon's going to throw all over this team and having a high scoring game. But I hate to say, I'm going to go Texas.
Damn. Okay, keeping it going. Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, no analysis needed. Both horns up. Let's go Texas. I think Texas takes the outright win. So,
okay,
give me the horns.
All right, Blake, who do you got?
I think Baylor's still being underrated all year long, and I'm gonna stick with it now. They have a top 15 offense in yards and points per game. Like, Dave Aranda's a great defensive coach, and they have a great defense, but this team is led by their offense, so it's looking like more of a traditional Baylor team where it's really, like, they look really good. Like, Gary Bohannon's awesome. A classic settler name with Abraham Smith as their running back. Incredible. Like, he's been incredible. Baylor has a better offense and defense. Like, they grade better on both sides of the ball. I just think this number's way too low, and Texas is just getting love because they're Texas and they have Bijan Robinson. They have these guys that you heard of, and it's just Baylor's not getting a lot of national attention, but they're really good this year. Like, my prediction right now is OU Baylor in Arlington. Like, I think Baylor's really that good. So, give me Baylor.
Yeah, look, I like Baylor too. I'm pretty big on Baylor, but this seems like the perfect game where it's like things are lining up for OU. You have a lot of good strength of schedules. like situations lined up, and then you have a dumb team like Texas just bowl into Waco and get a win. And that's what I think happens here. Both teams off a bye week, but Texas is the more desperate team. Baylor, they might be a better team, but I think these two teams are sneakily closer than you would think. And that's not an insult to Baylor. I think Baylor is a damn good team. But I think UT gets the win here in a nail-biter. This could go either way. Do not bet it. I do not like the line whatsoever. So, yeah.
Bet it. I love this line. Bet
okay.
it.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. Give me the horns, though. Moving on. We have the game that everybody wants to see. Texas Tech at Oklahoma. The Sooners inexplicably favored by 20. I'll get us started off here. Look, I'm right back to it. No. Texas Tech is covering this damn spread. I don't care that they just fired their head coach. They're getting the fired head coach bump, especially with a guy like Sonny Cumbie, who is an offensive mind of some sort. Don't know if he's a genius.
No. He has a mind, Bobby. You are right, and he was the offensive coordinator. So
look, I'm just saying. Look, we watched Jason Bean run all over the defense. There's not enough time to fix it. And frankly, 20 is just too many points. I think Tech does enough to get this close. I think it's about a 2-score victory for Oklahoma, but a Texas Tech cover.
Yep, I'm going opposite. OU's going to bounce back. And I know last week was fun, and I had my good chuckles and stuff like that, but Caleb Williams is really good. And I know Sonny Cumbie. I've had to deal with Sonny Cumbie for a long time, and he's no genius, and he does not know offense. So I got to ride with OU this week, and it's just frustrating coming out of that game. I think Cincinnati has gotten a little bit more hate than OU. I've heard some national media members say Caleb Williams was heroic in that game, and Desmond Ridder and Cincinnati really struggled, and that really hurt their chances. Navy is a lot better than Kansas, I think. A lot better. It's harder to play the triple option than whatever Kansas did last week. So, but that's just my little rant. But give me OU. Sonny Cumbie's so bad, and I don't want him to become the future head coach. So I need him to get put in the ground as well.
I will say it's hard. It's hard to say since he, is getting hit hard or harder than OU when OU literally dropped. So, yeah, I don't know. I think OU should get hit.
Perception. Yeah, it's more of some people's perception. I don't think they should. I think Navy's just triple option teams are hard to prepare for.
Yeah.
We saw it with Tyler Murray and Army. It's just even with good teams, it's hard to prepare for that. So
OU should be hit harder because Kansas is, I think, a worse team, and also, let's just be honest, they've had 6 of these since he's had one. Anyways, Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, I will say real quick, OU is a proven commodity. You know what you're going to get from OU, right? We were disappointing, but we've been here. We've been here since 2000. We've been here for 21 years now. So obviously, Cincy, being an unproven commodity, is going to get knocked a little bit more, and I mean brand by that. So with all that being said, we just did a whole podcast on this. I think this is out of character for me, but I like the Sooners here. I like the Sooners in 20. I think hopefully we're going to see some stuff after Kansas. Texas Tech, I don't buy the fired coach bump. I think it's going to be, especially with – I think that's a dated way to look at things. I think nowadays with the ease of transfer and everything else, I think there's going to be a lot of people – whether they do it or not, looking at exit options and looking at other things. And I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the Texas Tech locker room that has got guys thinking about things besides this game. Whereas in the OU locker room, hopefully, how many times are we going to get fooled with this? But hopefully our coaches are sitting down with our guys and saying, hey, we're better than this. We need to do better. We need to come out here and show out and show that we're Oklahoma. So give me OU minus 20.
Okay. Jameson?
Yeah. Give me OU by 24. I think we cover here. First of all, because Bobby's finally going against OU, which is a rarity, folks. So once he crosses the pass, he's probably going to eat the shit. So, and also, I think the defensive line steps up and plays better because, for the past couple games, some people were saying the defensive line playing better, but, we're obviously worrying about the secondary. Now it's defensive line, you are talented. Show up and just absolutely destroy the other team. They can do that versus Texas Tech, and they should have the fuel to do that. And if you just throw a pass rush and a nice run defense on Texas Tech, they're going to react to that. Columbia throws interceptions. Sir Roderick Thompson, if you can shut him down, the Texas Tech offense is going to struggle. And I think the way that our offense has been playing, especially with only scoring touchdowns on all 5 drives in the second half versus Kansas, I understand it's Kansas. With that momentum and with everything that's gone on the offense, hopefully getting someone back, our wide receivers, and Mike Woods hopefully coming back. I don't know the extent of his injury. That should help if he does come back. Give me OU by 24 here, and maybe seeing some backup of Ralph Rucker versus Spencer Rattler of who's the first quarterback on.
Okay, I like it. A lot of love for OU here. Let's move on to our wild card pick. And Jameson, you get to start us off.
Yeah, so I was lead last week. And so the lead person, you get to choose. You either want to go first or last to begin with, and we kind of go in order of how everyone's records are. And I had the last pick in the wild card, and it absolutely gave me so much anxiety, and I did not like it. So I wanted to be first in the wild card here. And last week, like I said, pick Pac-12. Not picking Pac-12 ever again. I want to go back to something that makes me feel like I've been there before, and it just feels right. And Blake, I know that you might have some interesting, maybe you might disagree with me here, but I'm going back to the good old Fade Wyoming crew. And I'm going to go San Jose State at home.
Oh, God, this is
as a 3-point. I know last time he did that, everyone listening, I was in love with Blake's pick of Air Force versus Wyoming. It covers. It was very easy. And I said, I want to hop on this Wyoming train. I always like playing the piggyback. And he hated the Fresno State pick. 17-0 for Fresno State over Wyoming. That probably really hurt Wyoming, and they're just an absolute fraud. They're at 4-1 at the time that Blake picked them. So 4-3. And then last week, anyone know how bad of a football program New Mexico has been for the past years? Bad. And guess what happened? New Mexico beat Wyoming 14-3 with Wyoming at home. Now Wyoming goes on the road as a 3-point underdog to San Jose State. I understand San Jose State toyed around with UNLV, but at least they ended the game off well, right, Blake?
Oh, yes, they did, but dude, this isn't Nick Starkel, San Jose State. This is your mother, San Jose State, that you remember just getting beat by every West Coast team. This is a stinky game on both sides. So,
Give me San Jose State, not because of San Jose State, because I like going back to the well of Fade Wyoming, and I don't know why they keep giving these lines like there's some kind of really great team. They only beat UConn by 2, then they lost to Air Force by 10, didn't score a point versus Fresno, and only scored 3 versus New Mexico. Am I missing something here? Give me San Jose State. We can move on to Ty. I've talked enough about these things that don't matter.
Ty, who do you got?
All right, this one. I think I might be stepping on someone's toes here. I don't know. But Jameson half picked, and the order is the order. I'm picking Miami versus Pitt. All right, because it's a juicy line. I'm known to pick Miami throughout the season. And one of my rules is you don't go with Miami after week 3. You pretty much just fade them after week 3 when it comes to the lines. Pitt coming off of great win against Clemson. Great for Pitt. They're coming in the 9.5 favorites against the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes are having to come up to Pittsburgh, which is significant. They're not moving because we had this whole argument about it's about time zones or whatever. It's the same time zone, but they're having to travel 4 or 5 hours to get up there, which is a significant amount of travel on a plane because it's not about time zones. It's about time traveled. Because that's how time zones
work.
Really
about in the day and age where you can charter a plane, and it's not about anything. That a plane can be more comfortable than my apartment.
You've been able to charter planes for 100 years.
Yeah, they're comfortable. It used to be time zones, but then time zones stopped whenever these players get the most comfortable conditions known to man that they're getting from point A to point B.
Possibly. Let's see who Miami charters with. No, we're not going to go on that segment. So, I think I already mentioned it, but I like Pitt minus 9.5 against Miami. We fade Miami later on in the season. I think it's a surprisingly low line. I kind of understand with Miami why it is where it is, but It's obviously just under. There's no way to get a 9.5, but the fact that it's technically a single-digit line is really cool to me. So give me Pitt here. I think that's a good one to look at gambling-wise.
Okay. Blake, who do you got?
Yep, so I'm going to highlight another G5 team that I just feel like hasn't gotten enough respect this year. Give me UTEP plus 11.5 at Florida Atlantic University. And look, where were you when UTEP is freaking bowl eligible? They already have 6 wins. No, this is not UTSA meet. This is UTEP. Significantly
it's the same.
Significantly worse. Usually 1 or 2 wins a season. We got 6 wins in El Paso. This team is going bowling, hopefully. I don't need any weird screw arounds, but look, Florida Atlantic, I know they blew out Charlotte last week, and I was on Charlotte big, but they're a shaky team, and I just want to highlight the fact that UTEP, the game versus UTSA the next week is going to be nationally televised. Both of these teams finally getting their due. Did UTEP, or did they get stuck in the Conference USA?
UTEP is stuck.
Crap. Okay. Just go out there. Show what you got. Show them what you got, boys. They're probably about to be an FBS independent, but just show them what you got. Give me the 11.5. We're going bowling this year, Minor Nation. Let's go.
Hey, and honestly, a little sneak peek for next week's card. We got UTEP UTSA on the main card, folks.
Yes.
So get ready. We got Meep versus the Miners.
Get this tyrant out of here.
That might be college game day, so y'all shut up. I'm very much looking forward to game day live from the border. It'll be a great time. Anyways, I'm going to go with mine. And it's a tough one. I don't really know how to trust this team, but I think I do. I think I will let them into my heart. The Oregon State Beavers, 1.5 point dogs at Cal. I know the Golden Bears have been on a roll, but I feel like Oregon State, they're starting to kind of put it together. They're getting sneaky. So give me the Beavs to cover 1.5 here. I think they're a better team.
Off to the Pac-12
This needs to be said on record, but it's Halloween weekend, and if OSU as an Oregon State doesn't bring out the spooky beaver uniforms, it is over, Bobby. You've lost that bet. This is spooky beaver weather, and if they're not out, it's over. It's over. It's spooky beaver season. So.
Especially in Northern California, there's in Berkeley, there'll be like a little fog maybe. They literally play on a fault line. At any time, the entire stadium could fall into the earth. So that's spooky. So yeah, spooky beaver season is upon us.
This might be my lock. I might have to slam this. Spooky beaver season on Halloween. You can't get much better than that. I might have to. I love that pick, Bobby. I love that pick.
Well, thank you, Blake. That means a lot.
They looked great versus Utah on offense last week.
That might be the kiss of death though on this pick. Last week Blake slammed my Notre Dame pot of greed, and it turned into a pot of gold for me. So you never know. But all right. That's the slate, everyone. Thanks for joining, and for all of y'all listening, thanks for listening. It was a wild ride, definitely an interesting one. But I think we all like our slate. We all like our picks, and next week we've got week 10. It's hard to believe we are barreling towards the end of this, barreling towards conference championship and bowl season, and it's still really tight. We'll see who comes out on top, but. If you like this, make sure to check out our other content. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you can see all of our reactions, such as Blake squirming whenever one of us makes a horrible pick. It's always fun. And then, of course, Football Feast. We have a just wonderful, wonderful video of the Texas Tech Spanky's fried cheese. It's a total mess. You'll love it. And, of course, the Schooner Sim, produced by our good friend Michael Whitman. So... with that being said, guys, any final words? Blake?
I'm just ready for good. We got good football this weekend, and I love the slate. I think my picks were really good this weekend. I don't know about y'all's, but we shall see how it goes. That's the beauty of college football, so I'm ready.
Yeah. Ty, final words?
Yeah, Blake said we had bad college football. Last week was a great week for college football, and Blake thought it was bad. So
No, because y'all were coming in the chat like, oh, the big upset with Iowa State over OSU. I'm like, Iowa State was a
I never
7-point
said anything.
favorite.
No.
No,
It was-
it was a record-setting week for college football on several occasions. It was a great week. It's been a
The
great
BS
season.
new overtime season. Yeah, we're not gonna have to.
It's
get
going to be
it out.
another great week for football. So yeah, I'm excited.
We had the dumbest overtime of all time. Last week was awesome. I loved it. Jameson, final words.
Yeah, Blake, I actually did not know Starkle was not starting, but it doesn't matter. I didn't realize that Fresno
Yes,
State's
it's
quarterback
started
was.
for the past like 4 games, Jameson.
Jameson, do you
That's
want a
why San
mulligan?
Jose State's been so
No, I do not
bad.
want a mulligan. I love it. Like I said, I'm only picking for Wyoming's sake against them. So last time that Blake was not on me picking against Wyoming. It ended up pretty good. Let's just ride this on, keep on riding the wave until it kicks me off, baby.
Okay. All right, there it is. Well, folks, that was the Weekend Spread presented by the Schooner Pod and the Pigskin Podcast Network. We'll catch you next time for another week of picks. Have a good one. Good luck out there, everyone.